Good afternoon, villagers. It's me, it's Arnie, and it's PTV JuLive. Hope you're having a magical day. I know I am. It's Disneyland's birthday. That's right, July 17th, Disneyland's birthday. It's finally here. So get ready for a long list. I've got quite a few notes about this, so let's go ahead. I'll probably get started very shortly, but I just want to let you know that hey, Steve, thanks for joining. Doug, Ben, and I will be talking a little more in depth about Disneyland tomorrow night. Hello, Mickey Sightings. Good to have you here. We will be talking more in depth tomorrow night about Disneyland, and we will have D&G Explorers on our channel with us to commemorate the anniversary of Disneyland. Hello, Nabol. How are you doing? Good to have you here. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, July 17th, this day in Disney history, 1955. Disneyland premiered to the world on this day. People called it Walt's Folly, but it turned out to be an absolute success. A full production was broadcasted on the ABC network, and it was viewed by the largest television audience up to that date. Let's see, the hosts were Art Linkletter, Ronald Reagan, and Bob Cummings. They all co-hosted this broadcast with Walt Disney himself. It was quite a hectic day. They had problems with the plumbing as they were building it, so Walt had a choice of either having toilets or drinking fountains at that time because of some difficulties they had during the construction process. So he chose toilets. So a lot of people thought that he was being I guess greedy in hopes that he would be able to generate more drink sales by having no drinking fountains available, but that was not the case at all. And of course, history taught us that. Well, let's move on to, I've got a long list here, like I said. So we also have in 1965, Disneyland was celebrating their 10cennial. Disney's always been a little clever, so they called it their 10cennial, celebrate 10 years. And at that time, they premiered Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. Now, the show was still playing at the World's Fair in New York, so they actually had a second show that was playing now at Disneyland at that time. I was not aware of that fact until I started doing some research, so yeah, it was pretty interesting. I liked that one. Later that day, Walt spoke at, hi, Zachary, thanks for being here. Walt spoke at the 10cennial celebration for cast members that day. It was actually in the evening. It was a celebration at the Disneyland Hotel. And I wrote down a quote of his. And it says, "A lot of people didn't believe in what we were doing. My brother had the worries of getting this money and fighting the bankers and things, but we ran out of money. A lot of people don't realize that we had some very serious problems here. Keeping this going, getting it started. But at this time, 10 years after opening, I want to join my brother in saying thanks to you people who have been here with us and have been part of making this thing come across." Walt Disney. That was on July 17th, 1965. And just on a side note, about a month later, Ben and I went to Disneyland for the first time ourselves. So that was, we were, of course, just babes in arms, but I apologize for the noise. There's a FedEx truck going through our parking lot at the moment, so it's a little loud. So that was 1965. In 1970, 15th anniversary, a celebration is held not just for the park, but also for 130 cast members that are there. They're original cast members from 1955, and they are, at that point, dubbed Club 55. So if you had been a cast member from 1955 up to 1970, you were part of an elite group known as Club 55. I think that's pretty cool. In 1980, the 25th anniversary is celebrated with a 25-hour party for Disneyland. It started at midnight on July 17th and ended the next day, July 18th, at 1 o'clock in the morning, so 25 hours later. I didn't go to that celebration, but I'm sure it was a lot of fun. All the guests that were there received buttons saying, "I was there." It sounds pretty cool. In 1989, Splash Mountain was dedicated and opened July 17th, 1989. So that opened in the newly dubbed area Critter Country. Up to that point, it had been called Bear Country, but once they added all the characters from Splash Mountain, they changed the name of the land from Bear Country to Critter Country. Hi, Marianne. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Let me get a little bit of an angle there. I want you all to see. I'm also wearing a Mickey Mouse shirt today from the Disneyland Resort, so I felt it was appropriate for today. So I wanted to celebrate with that. Let's see. Let's get that going. There we go. It's a little better. Okay. Okay. In 1990, Disneyland started celebrating the 35 years of magic celebration. That was quite the celebration. That's when Ben and I started to go to Disneyland on a more regular basis because we had jobs, we had more dependable transportation, so we were able to start going to Disneyland more often. That was, oh my goodness, almost 30 years ago, 1990. They celebrated with a year-long party and the parade that was called the Party Gras Parade. And it was a parade that had these giant balloons that were inflated. Hey, Destinations Chronicles, thanks for being here. They the balloons were pretty big. They went all the way down Main Street in the parade and the whole bit. They were very tall. They towered everything. Hi, Amanda. Thanks for being here. I know that Mickey Mouse was part of it and Minnie. I want to say Roger Rabbit was a balloon at that time, but I can't guarantee that. I didn't do any research because there was so much information. So I'll do a little bit more research digging and find some pictures of that parade. But the balloons were huge, and they treated it just like a Mardi Gras parade. They threw coins and beads every time that the parade ran down Main Street. It was a lot of fun. In 1995, Disneyland had their 40th birthday. And Ben and I, along with my mom, were in attendance. At that time, Ben and I were living in Southern California. So we just used our annual passes. We went to the party, and it was quite a day. There was a time capsule, or what they called a time castle, that they buried in front of Sleeping Beauty Castle that day, and announced that it would not be opened for another 40 years to match the 40 years that had already been experienced at Disneyland. So in 2035, they will be opening that time castle to reveal the 60 plus items that are in there. And there are significant things that represented the resort at that time. And actually, it wasn't even really a resort. It was just Disneyland itself. No, there was a hotel across the street, the Disneyland Hotel, but nothing else at that point. They were about to purchase the Disneyland Pacific Hotel, which became the Pacific Pier, or the Paradise Pier Hotel. But yeah, it was quite a celebration. I do remember getting free birthday cake that day too. They handed out birthday cake at different stations all through the park. Ben and I got our cake at a station that was in front of the fire station on Main Street. Randy Travis also performed from the top of the Matterhorn. He was singing the Mickey Mouse March and also led a sing-along of the song Happy Birthday. So that was pretty fun. We also were given party hats. So the typical party hats, you know, the little cone thing that that you typically get at a birthday party. I still have mine, and it's a decoration on my Disney tree in the Christmas forest every Christmas. So you'll see it eventually. Let me fix that again. Sorry about that. Hey, Juan, thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So that was 1995. In 1996, the following year, July 17th, Disneyland officially announced that they were going to be building Disney's California Adventure as part of the coming Disneyland Resort. So they were going to build Downtown Disney, the hotel, Grand Californian Hotel, and of course the park. Hey, Shep, thanks for being here. Really appreciate that. In 2001, of course, Disneyland DCA had already opened, but this was on July 17th. They opened a new version of the Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln show. That one lasted only about 4 years because come 2005, they had a special show for the 50th anniversary in the Main Street Opera House instead of Great Moments with Mr. Lincoln. It was a movie celebrating the 50th anniversary starring Steve Martin. See, in 2002, oh, here's some news actually is not Disneyland centric. In 2002, an electrical fire at 3:30 in the morning at Epcot forced the park to close all day. And the fire cut the electricity to several areas of the resort. That was news to me. I didn't know that when I was doing my research, so I thought I'd throw that in there as well. Being that I thought, let's have something else besides just Disneyland. 2004, Disneyland introduced, that belch was sponsored by D&G Explorers, who will be part of our live broadcast tomorrow night on PTV Live at 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East. So, 2004, Disneyland introduced this program called The Happiest Faces on Earth. And that was a program that they encouraged guests who had been to Disneyland at any time during their life to submit photos, whether it be an actual digital image or if they scanned photos, anything that they could do to submit photos to Disney through a website. And all those photos were then compiled and they formed photo collages. And those photo collages were on display throughout the resort for the 50th anniversary. If you do a little search, hi Amy, AJC Magic TV, thank you for being here. So those photo collages were pretty cool. They were throughout not just Disneyland, but also throughout the resort. Oh, destinations, you just got back from Disneyland on Sunday. Oh, I hope you had a wonderful time. So the 50th anniversary then started on July 7th. Well, it started May 5th, 2005. But on July 17th, 2005, they opened the gates at 7 a.m. and let all of us weary guests who had spent the night prior at DCA into Disneyland. So it was quite the celebration. And that day at 4:45, which is apparently the time that Walt dedicated Disneyland originally, he gave his opening day speech, and it was announced, it was done on Jumbotrons throughout the park that day. His speech is, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world." Hello, Jim. Thank you for being here. So that speech was done. It was shown on Jumbotrons throughout the park on July 17th, 2005 for the 50th anniversary. 4 years later, Marty Sklar, as I mentioned yesterday in my stream, Marty Sklar, former Imagineer, was retiring, and they dedicated a window on Main Street in his honor. And that window is above City Hall in Town Square. So the next time you go to Disneyland, you'll see it there. If you just look above City Hall, it's on the second floor. In 2014, this one's pretty interesting, and we'll talk more about this one tomorrow night when we do our live broadcast at 7 p.m. on the West. Hello, Disney Dan. Thanks for being here. So in 2014, Disneyland announced the Diamond Celebration, which was going to be the 60th anniversary for Disneyland. And they announced this on the 59th anniversary. They also released the official logo, which was a Sleeping Beauty castle that was stylized out of diamonds. Very, very cool logo, and very significant for the anniversary. In 2015, of course, Disneyland celebrated their 60th anniversary, and it was quite the celebration. There were a lot of people there. In fact, Ron Miller was in attendance that day. And and at one point, Doug and I also met Ron Dominguez, who was significant in Disneyland's history. He was president of Disneyland at one point, also was president for Walt Disney Attractions at one time. I was very honored and humbled to meet him, and he was just such a genuine, wonderful gentleman. just wonderful. In 2015, of course, Disneyland celebrated the 60th anniversary, but also the movie Ant-Man was released to the theaters that day. And then the last one that I have is from last year, 2018, when Disneyland celebrated their 63rd birthday. They celebrated the occasion by holding a parade that went the parade route from Small World down to Town Square on Main Street. And it would stop every once in a while and do a little performance. Characters would dance. They had 63 characters from the Disney universe that were there for the parade. So everyone from Mickey Mouse to the latest films, characters were represented. It was really cool. And I actually posted a video of that birthday celebration on YouTube last year on this day, 2018. So if you get a chance, go back into my archive and you'll see that you'll see the 63rd Disneyland birthday celebration parade. I think that's what it's called, something like that. So that is about all I have for today. I didn't want to go into too much depth with everything. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, please everyone hit that like button. I'd really appreciate that. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that too. That'd be wonderful. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Pepper Tree Villa. So tomorrow night, we will be doing another live stream. This will be our regularly scheduled PTV live show. And D&G Explorers, Derek and Gregory, will be joining us as we discuss Disneyland in depth for the anniversary that we're having today. It's anniversary 64. So we'll talk about our experiences that we've had for different celebrations, different anniversary celebrations, that kind of thing. So I'll go into more depth with some of these stories that I shared today, tomorrow night during the broadcast. So that is about it. Again, I dropped a video this morning about the Golden Gate Bridge. We crossed the Golden Gate Bridge on Sunday, so I shared that with all of you and recorded the bridge crossing. So you want to go ahead and check that out on our channel, along with Ben's show, Life with Ben, where he talks about our experience at Lucasfilm seeing Spider-Man Far From Home for a private screening, which was a lot of fun on Sunday. That is about it for today. Again, we'll see you tomorrow for another episode of PTV JuLive. That will probably be around this time, sometime on my lunch break. It's a lot easier to do it during my lunch break. And thanks, Shep. Appreciate it. Got to go make dinner. Thanks. We'll see you later. And then we will be on tomorrow night at 7 p.m. on the West Coast, 10 p.m. on the East Coast for PTV Live. In the meantime, don't forget to watch D&G Explorers tonight at 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East, followed by another awesome edition of Dis and Dat. You do not want to miss Dis and Dat. That's a fantastic show. Steve's World, Brandy and Dave, Zippity Doo Dad, the Shep family, all four of them have such awesome chemistry. So you will not want to miss that. That is tonight at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. So we'll see you there. In the meantime, everyone, go out and have a... Oh, Jim, he'll be on with D&G Explorers tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So make sure you check out both of those shows tonight. You won't want to miss them. In the meantime, go out, have a magical day, everyone, and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Thanks.